Here's why the deepest hole ever created was almost complete but had to be shut down. Nobody knows what's at the bottom of the enormous hole that was made in the ground. We learned in elementary school geography that the Earth's core is located further than the mantle. There were, however, false hypotheses circulating that suggested the planet's center may be hollow. Alternatively, there could be subterranean reptile aliens living there that are unknown to humanity. Even if these hypotheses are untrue, they are nonetheless very intriguing to consider. Russia and the United States competed for decades to drill the deepest hole ever discovered in Earth's history. The aim was to ascertain what was fundamental. Due to their enormous scope, the projects inevitably attracted attention from spectators all around the world. You'll be shocked to see what was found as well. Maybe you've ever wondered what's truly beneath the Earth's surface. Could there be anything more there except the core and the mantle? That may have a possible solution. The boreholes that Russia and the United States bored into the Earth eventually ran out of room. Massive metal devices capable of shattering even the hardest materials were employed. America started the race by activating their exercises and really hoping that the strategy would work. The globe was incomplete or as they watched. What wonders awaited us under the surface? Did the answers come at last? The U.S. initiative was called Project Mohole. In 1961, they started drilling off the Pacific coast of Mexico. This had undoubtedly caught the attention of people around. Undoubtedly, a lot depended on the team's performance. In order to guarantee the success of Project Mohole, 6 enormous buoys were positioned in a circular pattern over 200 feet below the surface. Dona was used to guide the naval barge, which was tasked with drilling, over the circle's center and into perfect alignment. The group had received extremely detailed instructions on how to operate the equipment. Extreme caution had to be exercised at all times. Sadly, this initiative was shelved due to a lack of finances. Together with the drilling crew, the Russians developed their strategy over 10 years later. Soon, they found themselves on a journey to reach the center of the Earth. They had their eyes set on the Coca-Cola Peninsula on May 24, 1970. The Kola Super Deep Borehole was the moniker given to the Russian project. Beginning in 1970, the expert Russian drillers dug a third of the way through the continental crust of the Baltic Sea until 1994. The world's deepest artificial hole is still thought to be this one. The depth of this pit was equivalent to Mount Everest's height. After more digging, the hole was eventually deeper than the ocean's lowest point. The Russian people were really grateful for this endeavor, which was the largest one to date. In 1987, stamps were produced to honor the drilling team's achievements. Multiple individuals had to operate the enormous rig used for this operation at once. They still had difficulties. The crew would occasionally have to react quickly to pull the rig back on course when it jerked to one side. The drilling rig was actually housed in a tower that was situated over the sea. The Russian project's ultimate objective was to penetrate the Earth's crust to a depth of at least 49,000 feet. Numerous more holes have been dug out of the primary one. In 1989, the hole's main branch, known as SG-3, descended to an astounding 40,230 feet. However, risky conditions forced a sudden halt to the drilling in 1992. At that depth, the temperature was far greater than anyone could have predicted. The temperature was so close to 300 degrees Celsius that additional drilling was not possible. The project wasn't formally closed down until 2005, even though the drilling had ended in the 1990s. However, all of the buildings and superstructures were demolished and destroyed in 2008. Even though the buildings are presently deserted, tourists can visit the remains to get a sense of what conditions were like during this historic race. It is regrettable that the building was merely allowed to decay, even if it is an interesting sight. That is left of the borehole is a 9-inch steel cap, which makes it difficult to overlook the real hole. Even though the Russian crew did not succeed in reaching their objective, the depths they did reach allowed for several new scientific findings. Together with the minuscule plankton fossils that were found at the bottom, a little bit more information about the planet's structure may now be understood. The world was definitely ready for some excitement at that time, and it got it in this race. In any case, the effort was beneficial to the scientific community even though the aim was not achieved.